Welcome to what I'm calling the Plexiglass ball bearing UFO spaceship design. It builds on my previous marble fidget. Stand by, here we go. Giving you a couple options here. One with 1/2 inch ball bearings and one with 3/4 inch ball bearings. This has got a really nice look to it, and because of the extra weight, it spins longer than this one does. Both are nice. This one's a little cheaper. 1/2 inch ball bearings are much less expensive, probably half the price. You can get those for about 12 cents, 25 cents a piece. These, if you look around, you can get them for about 50 cents, and in bulk 25 cents, sometimes upwards to $1. I will post below the links to getting these, and I'm sure you could find them cheaper than I did. So for this build, I'm using Plexiglass, 0.22 thick, 18 by 24, and certainly enough to build 40, maybe even 50 fidgets. Might be seeing a good bit of fidgets in the future. If you remember my marble fidget build, I'll post this down below. And basically what you do is you cut this out and you put it on the plexi, tape it on with double-sided tape, and then you cut it out. How can you cut it out? You can cut it out with a scroll saw if you have one, or you can use just something, a coping saw, very simple like this, works great. The one thing you'll want to do though is you'll want to get as close to the line as possible so that you don't have to spend a lot of time sanding. This is 100, and then I finished up with 150 grit sandpaper to get the edge nice and smooth. Once you have this cut out, the fun part is the holes. Now this middle hole is 22 millimeters, and for the longest time I was using a 7/8 inch drill bit, and it was a little big, and then I would paint it down and it would be fine. But for this one, there's no paint. That's a fit right into the glass. So I went online and I bought one of these, a 22 millimeter Forster bit, and this has been really great. I've cut out, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, and it's working like a charm. I will tell you though, with the Forster bits and the Plexi, you could melt it, so you have to be a little patient. You can't push down on it too hard. Just let the drill do all the work. The only thing I can think of that you would use a 22 millimeter Forster bit for is a something like a fidget build, but I've made enough fidgets now that it's probably worth it. I will put a link down below where you can get this at a fairly reasonable price. I actually got a whole set of metric bits like this for about the price that I've seen for just this one 22 millimeter bit. For the 1/2 inch, you use a 1/2 inch bit, and for the 3/4 inch, use a 3/4 inch bit. And I think you'll find it's pretty close to fit in there. If for some reason it's not snug, you can use something like this. I like E6000. This is actually clear. I did a test run on a scrap piece before I made this build. This is about 6 hours old and it's in there pretty good. And the great thing about this kind of E6000, and I'm not getting paid for this, it's just a good all-purpose glue, is then you can just take X-Acto knife or something and cut off all this extra, and it'll be just a nice clean fit. As it turns out, both this middle piece and the ball bearings in this case and in this case are pretty solid fits, and so they probably don't require any gluing whatsoever. I did this one first, kind of liked it, so I took a chance and I did the 3/4. The 3/4 is really on the fringe of what you can do. You really need a border here to have enough so that it won't crack. I actually tried to make one. I have, and you'll see a future video, but I need to perfect it, where I used this version and I tried to put a 22 millimeter bead in there, and it just didn't work well. So I'm gonna have to modify it to get it in to do it right. Another thing that you should do is most of this plexi has got this clear plastic coating on it, and that's fine. I want to make sure that this is just an unmarred, perfect surface. So I'm taking the extra step and taking some just regular masking tape and masking off the back before I start cutting the holes in it with the Forster bits. I take the Fidget, put it on a piece of wood so that when I drill through it, I'm not going to destroy my workbench. 2 clamps, and patiently drive the Forster bit with the drill through the thing. You'll notice on this printout that I have for you, there's a little white dot, or at least there is on my copy, and you put that little Forster bit right there on that dot, and you should be really in the center of that thing, and that will help you out immensely. The other thing is on the bigger Fidget builds, for sure, what would happen is after I drilled the hole, I would take some more masking tape. Imagine if this hole was cut out already, and I would wrap it around the hole to protect the hole and to give it a little bit of stability, so once again it doesn't get scratched up, so that you can get that nice little mirror clean finish. And with this Forster bit, it just really, that's a nice tight fit, and it works great both cases. In fact, this one was so tight I really had to press down in it really good to get it in place. And a nice press fit is really special because you don't need to use any glue. I'm not making any money on any of the things that I'm providing you the information below. I just do it because it took me a while to find all that information, and so I'm just going to share that knowledge with you so you don't have to go do it yourself. It's a pretty simple build. I'm getting into Plexi. I think it's a great material. You can get, you're probably talking about 50 cents itself for the Plexi, for the 0.22 millimeter. You can use maybe some smaller Plexi, but I really don't think that's going to do it for you. I think it's 0.22 inches is really what you want. That gives you the right thickness to center the bearing race and really gives a solid framework for these rather heavy bearings. But I really like the look at that. And so that's why I call it a UFO, or spaceship. It just seems to have that neat kind of look on the edges and what have you. It's almost flying through space. And for those who want to economize a little bit but still kind of get the look, the 1/2 inch bearings are also awesome. And a little simpler build, you don't have to worry so much about getting towards the edge here. I'm in the process of perfecting this design for a whole bunch of different fidgets, hand spinners, because my boys love the heck out of these things. So look for more fidget builds with plexiglass in the future. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching.